Hey guys, Shane with Dazzy IT Services. I want to talk to you about a significant cybersecurity risk that you're probably unaware of and most likely don't have protections around. And I know cybersecurity is boring, but please hang with me for just a few minutes. I promise you it's worth hearing about. So over the last couple of years, we've worked really hard to bolster the cybersecurity protections around the Microsoft 365 and Office 365 environments for all of our clients. We know that that's one of the biggest footprints when it comes to attack vectors for cyber criminals to get access to your environments. So we've added in things like multi-factor authentication and required it for all users. This is that additional layer of protection that covers the instance if your username or your users' usernames and passwords get compromised. You know, we recommend that you never reuse passwords across multiple sites and you use a password manager to handle all of that. But inevitably, people don't do that. They reuse passwords. They don't use a password manager. And that Amazon password that they have that got compromised is very simple, and it's probably the same password they're using for their email. So multi-factor authentication covers and provides an additional layer of protection on top of that. We've also added in things like conditional access policies because this allows us to restrict when and where access is granted to your system, to your email and the tenant. We know that if you're a US-based company, the likelihood of someone needing to log in at 3 a.m. from Eastern Europe is probably pretty small unless you've got remote international offices. So that should trip a warning that that's not allowed. So conditional access policies gives you yet another layer of protection in the Microsoft environment. And then we've done quarterly audits of all of our client environments when it comes to looking for risk and liability in the configurations, in the settings, and in the options. We know that there are always instances where a user may need to turn off multi-factor authentication, or a vendor needs to get access to something, or a setting needs to be disabled temporarily. Unfortunately, those temporary instances lead to long-term risk and liability unless someone goes back and audits that on a periodic basis. Add into the mix that Microsoft themselves likes to go in and change options, add additional settings, move things around, and what was set properly one day may not be the case tomorrow. So you layer in a scheduled audit of that environment to make sure that you look for those exceptions, you look for those things that are creating risk and liability so that you can catch them before the criminals take action on them. Those are all things that at one point were considered advanced protections that can be layered on. And today we consider those the bare minimums. You know, if you're not doing those today, you need to do those as quickly as possible. Get with your IT department, get with your provider, or if you don't have anyone else, let us know. We'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction and help you get those bare minimum protections in place when it comes to Microsoft 365. But what I want to talk to you about today is not those level of that level of protection. It's going above and beyond that. You know, about 6 weeks ago, we made it mandatory for all of our clients across our entire customer base to add in 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, 365-day security operations center just watching the Microsoft 365 environment. We did this because we knew that there are cyber criminals today that get past all of those protections. You know, multi-factor authentication is not 100%. You can break and get around multi-factor authentication rules. You can get around conditional access rules by using VPNs. Things that can be done to thwart or get around the protection that you have in place. We know that that's happening. And really, the only way to cover above and beyond that is to have live cybersecurity engineers, people that are focused on finding these issues, watching that environment 24 hours a day. So we added this protection in for all of our clients. We made it mandatory across the board because we were seeing, cybersecurity incidents happening even with these protections in place. And initially we thought, well, we're not sure what it's going to find when we add this in. I wanted to share with you what those live results have actually been. So it's been about 6 weeks with this protection in place. And I don't know if I'm happy or sad to say there have been 4 incidents that would have gotten past the minimum protections that we talked about with multi-factor and conditional access, and even the auditing, 4 cybersecurity incidents that would have gotten past that. Now, fortunately, by adding in this 24-hour-a-day Security Operations Center, they were able to catch those exceptions and stop live attacks in their tracks. Now, one of the things that they're focused on is looking at all of the cybersecurity actions, the conditions, the events, the anomalies, things that raise concern. So even with that conditional access, I mentioned that people can bypass that. Threat actors, criminals can get past that by using a VPN connection. That's something that's going to trip an alarm with that 24-hour-a-day Security Operations Center. You want someone in your court watching for those type of events around the clock. You want them not only watching those, but most importantly, to be able to take action on your behalf. And without this in place, I can almost guarantee that at some point in time, if you don't have it in place, criminals are going to get around your protections. Nothing is 100% secure. Anyone that tells you that they can provide that is lying through their teeth. I've seen vendors on the internet saying, I've seen emails promising this. No one can provide 100% cybersecurity protection. All you can do is layer upon layer protections and make sure that you do everything in your power. So if anyone tells you without this that you are 100% protected or even moderately protected, I would challenge that. So if you don't have a 24-hour-a-day Security Operations Center watching your Microsoft environment, you need to add this in as quickly as possible. Like I say, this is just a 6-week sample, and 4 different cyber attacks were caught and stopped by the Security Operations Center. And it is, in terms of the protection, it is extremely affordable for what you get out of it. If you don't have this in place, or you think you do and you're just not sure, one of the things I want to help you understand is that you probably need to be looking at this and making sure you need to document it. Your cyber liability insurance is probably going to require that. So you want to make sure that you got the documentation there. If you're not sure that you have this protection, or you just simply know you don't, there's going to be a form in the comments below where you can click on that. I want to provide you at least even a 30-day trial so you can see what we can protect and cover for you. If you can't fill out the form, leave a comment and we'll get a hold of you. But this is so incredibly important. I didn't think that we would see maybe 1, maybe 2 type of incidents in the time frame that we tested with it. But 4 within 6 weeks tells me this is going on very, very commonly. Things are getting past these layers of security, and it doesn't matter what antivirus, it doesn't matter what backup, it doesn't matter, because cyber criminals, all they have to do is be successful one time. You have to be successful every time. So you need something like this in your court. It doesn't matter if you go through us. We'd love it if you do, but you have to have this in place. If you want to know how cost effective this is to add to your protections, fill out the form in the comments below. Let us know how we can help you. Drop a comment. We'd love to help bolster that security for you. But the main thing is you need this in place. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have questions, let us know in the comments below. And thanks for giving me a few minutes.